How much did you score the first time around?
I scored around 95.8 or 96 percentile. I was able to convert Shillong for the first time, and I did not wait for the results of Kozhikode.
You did you end up converting KOI code?
Frankly, I did not check only.
Are you kidding me? Let's say you are someone who's an entry level analyst in an investment banking role. So what is it that you would be doing?
IB offers good amount of money, but it also screws up your work-life balance.
What kind of salaries can one expect?
Good banks offer you up to 35 LP as well.
Hello everyone, my name is Shlok and today I'm bringing you an insightful conversation with CA Rashmi Jajoo. She's studying at IIM Ahmedabad and for her summer internship, she's at Goldman Sachs. Today we are going to be diving deep into the world of building a career in finance. What should an absolute beginner do? What kind of salaries can you expect? And much more. With that said, let's get into today's video. In the first part of today's video, I take you through the absolute basics of what are the broad careers available in finance. For those of us who are well aware of these concepts, you can jump to this particular timestamp right here. Let's jump on to the first one that is a dream of almost anyone that wants to get into finance. And this one is investment banking. Let's break this one down. So imagine this, you're a kid with a lemonade stand, but one day you want to go big, like sell lemonade across the entire country. But of course, you don't have the money to do that. So what is it that you're going to do? This is where investment bankers come in. Think of them like financial matchmakers. They help businesses by connecting them with money. This could be from rich people, other companies, or it could be from the stock market. With that said, investment banking does have some core functions. The first one is that of raising money. So let's say our lemonade kid wants to open 10 new stands. An investment banker might say, all right, let's sell a part of this business to investors who believe in this particular idea. The next function is that of mergers and acquisitions. Here, let's take the real world example of Vodafone Idea, the two companies that merged in order to become V or VI. The investment banker essentially helps one company buy another or merge with another. So this is just like a real estate broker, but for companies. The third function is advisory. So these are serious money advisors and they tell us or they tell you how much a company is worth, whether it's the right time to buy or to sell. And the last part about investment banking is what it is it that these investment bankers do all day. The first one is building financial models. These financial models are basically Excel sheets that answer questions like how much is XYZ company worth, what if revenues grow by 10%, and so on. The next big thing they do is making pitch decks. These are PowerPoint presentations that go to clients and senior bankers. The next thing is market research, that is digging up numbers, identifying trends, competitors, deals, and keeping a tab on the news. Very, very important. And that's just scratching the surface as to what it comes or when it comes to what they do. And I want to highlight here that this is mainly what beginners in the investment banking industry do. With that said, let's jump on to the next big thing. Now let's jump on to private equity and let's understand that with a simple example. Imagine there's a toy store in your neighborhood and it used to be rather amazing. But what has happened is over the years, it has gotten messy. Not many customers are coming in and the shelves are half empty. So imagine someone really smart walks by and thinks, hey, I can help this toy store become awesome again. So this smart person is essentially a PE firm or a private equity firm. So what happens is a private equity firm gives money to the toy store owner in our example and says, let me run your store for a while and I'll clean it up, I'll bring new toys and I'll help make it lots of money. And guess what? After 3 to 5 years, when the store is shiny, it is popular, it is making big money, the PE firm sells it to someone else and walks away with an even more, even bigger pile of money than the one they started with. So to sum it up, private equity is when smart people or businesses or companies buy businesses, they fix them up and then they sell them later for even more money. But what is it that people in private equity do on a day-to-day basis? The first big thing they do is they find which companies that they should be buying. They're like business detectives asking that is this company boring now and can this become amazing later on? Then comes the spreadsheets again. Once they find the target, they check profits, costs, debts, cash flows, all the stuff that really tells them, is this even a good deal? The next thing, which is the real thing that they have to do, they have to improve the financials of the company. They work with management to make it better, reduce costs, grow faster, maybe even change up the leadership a little bit. They're not running the company on a day-to-day basis, they are guiding it like a GPS. Last thing they do is that they plan the exit. After 3 to 5 years, they look for a way to cash out, either by selling the company, taking it public, or selling it to another firm. So, in a nutshell, in PE, you buy, you improve, and you sell. The next big role is equity research. In my opinion, the easiest to understand, something that we would be easily able to relate to. Equity research is something I've personally worked in as well. It is analyzing companies, valuing them, writing research reports, and you have to essentially predict what the future predictions about a particular company are. So if you love following companies, analyzing financials, this I would recommend this to someone who loves doing that. This is going to be your world. Let's jump on to the next big one, that is going to be asset management. Okay, so maybe you've got some savings. Let's understand this with an example. Maybe you're someone who's got some savings. Maybe it could be 10,000, it could be 10 crores, but you don't want to leave it in the bank. You want that money to grow, but you don't have the time to track the stocks, the bonds, the mutual funds, and so on. That's where your asset managers come in. But what does the job really look like? The first big thing they do is research and allocation. They decide where is it that they should be putting their money. It could be stocks, it could be bonds, it could be gold, it could be international markets, and so on. And there are a lot of options when it comes to investing. Their job is to build a mix that balances risk as well as reward. The second thing is that they have to monitor portfolios. They constantly check if your investment is doing well. Now, let's take the current example. Let's say Trump's tariffs have come in, and thus it is their job, the asset manager's job, to rebalance the portfolio and to stay on track. The next big thing is that they have to analyze global events. Asset managers need to understand the bigger picture: interest rate changes, government policies, oil prices, war. All of these affect your returns, and these are what asset managers should very well be aware of. So that was a look into what are the broad roles in finance. So now let's finally jump into understanding the expert tips from Rashmi. I want to ask you, how should a beginner, an absolute beginner who has no background in finance, go about starting his finance journey?
Firstly, like let's start backwards. So if you want to make a career in finance, the two very good ways are actually three. First is CA, CFA, and MBA. Now, CA is something that obviously, if you start right after 12, that's a thing. So, right, assuming that your audience is mostly uh, the ones who are in their graduation, so they have two very good options. Like they'll have a lot of certification courses or distance learning courses available, but if you really want to add value to your CV, and finance as a field does want that, so MBA and CFA are very good options. Now both offer different course, both offer different curriculum. So accordingly, people need to make a decision where they want to do. So CFA is more like, firstly, it's something that you have to do it on your own. You have three levels into it, and the curriculum is more towards, so it's the entire curriculum is US based. So you will study US gap in that, and more like you want to go into stock market, you want to become a financial analyst. So that is more like uh, for CFA people. When you get into MBA, you open a lot more options other than finance. So there are a lot of people who come with a viewpoint that they want to get into finance through MBA, and that's a very fair choice. But there are also a different set of people who come with that perspective, but after getting into uh, let's say an MBA college, they understand that there are various other good career options, let's say consulting, genman, marketing, and prodman, and so on. So yeah, The entry level can be CFA and MBA to answer your question.
I have had a chance to look through the curriculum a little bit, and the CFA essentially begins assuming that you know a lot of basics about finance. So if I am talking about someone who's, let's say, from an engineering background, or someone who
Mhm.
hasn't has had the chance to look through his basic financial concepts, what would you say to someone who is in that boat right now?
Then, see, YouTube is a very good option, and there are a lot of certificate courses available with basics of finance. YouTube offers a lot of videos where you can just, search for one concept and you'll find good number of videos explaining that concept to you. When we look at CFA curriculum, I haven't attempted CFA, but I've had looked at CFA level 1 curriculum. You'll say that that is the basic of finance itself. So, and since it is to be done at your own end, you need to take help of these external resources like YouTube and, let's say, I'm not sure, an academy, and all these do offer courses on certain topics of this type.
So understood. Rashmi, one thing I've heard about finance is that, I've heard and I feel also these are one of the most sought after jobs, one of the most challenging jobs. But let's
Mm.
say you are someone who's an entry level analyst in an investment banking role. So what is it that you would be doing?
Okay, one thing that I'd like to clear here is that it's very difficult to get into an entry level good finance position in a good, let's say, bank or a private equity firm, just being a normal graduate. I'd like to just clarify that here. So many people, that is why that is one of the motivations that people go to a reputed MBA college to get an entry into that zone. Okay, that is one thing. Now, what are you expected to do? So it differs. As I said, there are different roles in finance, so it differs from role to role. Let's say if we talk about investment banking or private equity, at an entry level, um, um, you will be more expected to, so if there is an ongoing project, ongoing deal that is happening currently, you will be expected to help the team work through that deal. Now, you'll not be given a direct client facing role, obviously, at the beginning level, but yeah, you'll be handling more of, like preparing financial models, trying like preparing a DCF model, it's a discounted cash flow model, valuing the firm, or going through the documents of the firm, tracking the performance in the stock market if it's a listed company, then yeah, gathering financial as well as non-financial information related to the target company and so on. So more like back-end jobs to make that deal a successful one.
Understood, understood. And one thing that I've been repeatedly, asked, and something people also want to know is that what kind of salaries can one expect? One of the major motivating factors for people to get into finance. And depending upon the roles as well, I understand that not all roles are going to pay upwards of, 40 LPA. So
Yeah.
what are the kind of roles and what are the kind of pay packages that you're looking at, depending upon the kind of
Hmm.
role you want to get into?
Okay, so I'd say IB, that is investment banking and private equity, are the top-notch ones. And right now, private credit is also a field that is an upcoming one. It's something that I am interning in right now. It's not, it's very prevalent outside India, but not it's still a booming field in India. So yeah, these two, three one are the most high-paying roles in finance. You can expect like just to be on the conservative side, whereas good banks offer you up to 35 LP as well. Good banks, as in, let's say, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citibank, these do offer a good salary of 30 to 35 LPA. Rest roles, then you can expect between 25 to 30 and so on. Like, depending on the roles, you just keep moving down the ladder.
And what are you looking at 5 years into your career?
Okay. As I said, finance is a very it is a very heavy job because you kind of, it screws up your work-life balance. So, uh, what most people do is they kind of get into a good IB private equity for, let's say, 2, 3, 4 years. They kind of save up and then they make a switch to a less or maybe less paying or not, but less intensive job.
So that is one thing that I really wanted to highlight, that life doesn't just keep on getting easier. It
No, definitely not. So, people might think that being a CA very easy to get, like you'll get a very good profile and an MBA. Like you do definitely get a benefit when you are entering into the college, but after getting into a good college, let's say, see, I am in Ahmedabad. After getting into IIMA, everyone is at an equal footing. Okay, so everyone is the best in their fields. So that is why they are there. And after a point of time, that the advantage of being a CA is just in your CV. You after being there, you need to make an equal effort like everyone else, or maybe more in certain subjects if you are not very good with it to get good, like be good in a CADS and get a good role. So yeah, the life does not get easier after getting into a college. It just gets
more difficult.
more difficult, or let's say you have a lot of other things to manage. So that is what an IIM or an MBA school teaches you, to manage a lot of things in parallel.
And any myths that you would like to burst for anyone who is starting their MBA journey, and anything that you expected but it turned out to be completely different.
Hmm. So as I previously mentioned, many people enter into MBA college fixating their career. Ki, okay, I want to go into this only, or I want to go into finance. And most of the people you'll find would be very inclined towards finance, or maybe let's say consulting as well. It's an equally very good option for career. But I'd say just be open minded. Firstly, don't get yourself very fixed on a particular career, because as I said, being a CA, I was previously not looking for a finance role very actively for my internship, but somehow it landed and it happened. So as you said, you kind of don't want to make a plan. If you're very, very sure about it that you want to go into front end IB, then just go for it, prepare for it from the very beginning. Otherwise, I'd say there are very other good career options to look into. You'll get to know more once you get into the college, and you'll explore other subjects. You'll study about various subjects, so you'll kind of develop an interest for that as well.
So Rashmi, how do you make your CV stand out in, let's say, an IIM Ahmedabad, where you want to be the best among the best, you want to be the 10% of all the CVs in your batch? How do you do that?
So you'll have two CVs in your college, right? So one will be for your internship and one will be for your final placement. So for your internship, the CV will consist of your past life, what you have done before getting into IIM. Okay, so hopefully if you've done something great, or if you have a good degree or a good college, or like graduation from a very good college, or you have a strong extracurriculars, or if your work experience is exceptionally good, those help you stand out. Because for internship, as I said, your CV consists of your life till the point of time you before entering, or after entering into IIM. It is mostly what extracurriculars or what clubs you are a part of, or what maybe some case competitions that you have been participating in, and you've won some case competition. So yeah, that's a very plus point. Case competitions are a very good way of highlighting your getting highlighted. There are a lot of case competitions before entering into IIM as well as after entering into IIMs, and some flagship competitions as well that are conducted by IIMs as well. So yeah, those. And for your final, I think it's still a long way to go, but I think over of course it's the final CV, so it will obviously include all your things that you have done in IIM or in your MBA college, including your acads, how strong it is, including your like if you've had any PORs, let's say position of responsibilities, your club club members or club coordinators, if you have participated in a very good, like if you have been active in sports or cultural activities. again, case competitions, and yeah, so all these stuff combined will form your final CV for your final placements. But right now I think it's a very long way to go. Before that, for internship, I think, and apart from whatever you've done in your life till now, you can what you can do is try to and like take up certificate courses, good certificate courses that do add value to your CV, kind of relevant to your field that you might be looking for, and case competitions for sure.
Understood, Rashmi. I think that's about it from my side. Thank you so much for being here and helping us out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shlok, for this opportunity. I do hope this video helps people who are planning to move into finance or who are going to enter into MBA. And I just wish all of them luck.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. They are going to learn so much from you. End.
Thank you.
End हो गया.
Let's go.